Okay, hey gang, fuck. Hey gang, it's the culture detective here investigating your favorite movies. Right now it is 6:06 p.m. on a Wednesday, and today is a pretty special day because it is the US premiere, or at least US West Coast premiere of the new Kurosawa Kiyoshi film, Cloud. And I was really excited to see this film, and I'm lucky enough to be able to get the tickets for this film because it was sold out like in like 2 seconds or something. But I woke up early in the morning just so that I can get the tickets. But yeah, Cloud is a new film from Japanese director Kurosawa Kiyoshi, who is one of the most interesting filmmakers right now, in my opinion. He made the film Cure, which I have right here on Criterion, but he also made the film Pulse, which I saw a couple nights ago, which I really, really loved. So I can't wait to check out Cloud and also Chime. Also, there's going to be a Q&A session with him after the screening, so that's, I mean, I'm going to spend a lot of money on the Uber and all that stuff, but it's going to be worth it, okay? My friend who's coming to the screening with me is late as fuck, and it's already 6:32. Like, the screening starts in 28 minutes, and originally I wanted to go like an hour early just to line up. Holy shit, we're so fucked.
What's up? Thank you. All right.
Thank you. You got Zelle and everything, right? Oh my god.
あなた、この電子治療器を1台いくらで売るつもりですか？
すごいじゃないですか。助かりました。案外簡単でしょ。
Republic of Beyond Fest, please join me in welcoming back to the stage a true master of cinema, director Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Your foray into action movies a little bit, but it also shares the DNA with your filmography, some of your concerns about human nature. How did you come up with it, and what was the writing process like?
はい、まず最後まで見ていただいて本当にありがとうございました。
First and foremost, first and foremost, thank you so much for watching till the very end.
本当に、まあ、昔からアメリカ映画が大好きでしたから、アメリカ映画では本当に気持ちのいい、アクション映画がたくさん作られていて、そういうものをなかなか日本ではできないなと思って、いつかやってみたいというすごくシンプルな昔からの欲望がまずありました。
So when it comes to Cloud, I've loved American films all my career, all my life. I feel that the action films that come out of the U.S. are so great, but to do pull off something like that in Japan is very difficult. So I feel like Cloud came out of a desire of me thinking, one of these days I want to make a really solid action film.
日本でももちろんこういうアクション映画のようなものはなくはないんですが、そのほとんどが、最初から現実離れしたファンタジーである か、あるいは登場人物がヤクザとか警察官とか殺し屋とかですね、もうそもそも非常に暴力的な、暴力にいつも近いところで生きている人たち、その人たちが登場すると、割と簡単にこういう出来事はもう起こせる、そういう映画は日本にもあります。
So, I must recognize that Japan does have some good action films, but in the case of Japan, sometimes it's set in a fantasy world already, and it stays in that fantasy world. Also, you'll oftentimes see cops or yakuza or murder in these action films, so it's pretty straightforward to expect action.
どうもそう。
Something completely different within the action genre, and especially with how I approach things, I do want to start the story in very much grounded in reality. So you have all these people who really don't have an association with violence. They're very non-violent people, but by the end, it ends up being killed or be killed. And I wanted to make this sort of action film that explores this relationship between these non-violent people.
ですからアクション映画を作りたいって言いながら本当にそうなるのはもう本当最後の部分だけで、しばらく物語のもう5分の4ぐらいまではアクションなど全然ない何か起こりそうだけど何も起こらない、嫌な感じがただ連続するというシーンばかりになってしまいました。本当はもう映画の最初からかっこいい派手なアクションがパッと起こったりする映画僕大好きなんですけど、そういう脚本は残念ながら日本の設定では書けませんでしたね。でも最後だけはそれなりにやりたいことをやりたいなという気はします。
So, I think with Cloud, you actually see the true action part towards the end, but otherwise, 4/5 of this movie really doesn't have a lot of action, but it maintains tension, suspension. Also, you don't know what's waiting at the next, at the turn of the next corner. And I have to say, I love action movies that start out with a bang right at the beginning. I do love those, but in the case of script appropriate for shooting in Japan, that wasn't really quite how I wanted to approach it. But I think overall with Cloud, I was able to achieve what I wanted to achieve.
Speaking of tension, one of the things I love that you do in Cloud and all your films is the use of empty spaces. And it becomes incredibly apparent when our protagonist moves to the countryside where there's a lot more space and it becomes a lot more isolated. Can you talk a little bit about how you use the frame and the empty space to create that tension?
Yeah, そうですね。あんまり空っぽの空間を描きたいという意図で、何もないところを描いているつもりはないんですよ。
Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm not completely, I don't have the specific intent of using empty space.
変な言い方ですけど、空っぽではなくてそこにやっぱりちゃんと空間がある。そういう意味でスクリーンの向こう側にちゃんとある世界があるというふうに見せたいという思いからようにしています。
Yeah, so that, although we might describe it as empty space, I actually don't see it necessarily as empty, but there's that world of the film. So that is how I approach empty spaces.
どうしてもやっぱ俳優を撮りたくなるものなんですね、監督って。特に俳優のクローズアップを撮るとすごくそれは強い何かを表現するので、それは映画にとって非常に、力強い、武器になるんですが、僕は俳優のクローズアップを撮るとせっかくの空間が見せれない、空間も後ろにちゃんとあるのにそれを捉えることができなくなるのが非常に残念だといつも考えています。
So, as a director, of course, I want to shoot the actors, but when it comes to the close-up, For me, a close-up is an intense, very strong tool in film. However, for me, when it comes to a close-up, when the frame is filled with the actor, you can't see the rest of the world, what's going on literally behind the actor.
ですからもちろん俳優のクロスアップも非常に重要な要素なんですけども、それと同じぐらい主人公がいる空間もちゃんと撮ってあげたい、彼はこんな場所に住んでいるっていうのをちゃんとこんな場所で、ドラマが起こっているというのを、ちゃんと見せたいと思うので、そういう何もない空間がしばしば出てくることになるようですね。
So yes, close-ups are important, but for me, what we're calling right now as empty spaces is actually just as important. I want to show where this actor, this person in the story is living, and I feel that's where a lot of the drama develops as well.
なんかあんまり真面目腐った話をするのもなんか変ですよね。もうちょっと楽しい感じでやりたいですよね。
Yeah, it's kind of odd just
真面目になんかに答えてしまいました。
being so serious. I gave you a very, very serious answer, and it's just not as fun as it can be. So sorry about that.
I think it's a great answer. Thank you very much. Equally, I want to ask about the sound design in your films. The cloud, you especially get it, but there's both an intensity of sound and an absence of sound in places where the characters are feeling, they're trapped or they don't know what's happening. Do you work with a sound designer to design a specific soundscape, or is there someone you trust to just develop the world for you?
Yeah. サウンドは具体的なサウンドを作るのはもちろんプロの方です。音楽も含めて、僕が自分で作ることはないんですが、ここにこんな音を入れたい、あるいはここはこの音を省きたいとか、ここには音楽を入れる、ここには音楽を入れないとかいうのは、かなり僕が全部細かく指示してしまいます。
So when it comes to sound design, of course the minute details are left to the composer and the sound department, but I have my list. This sound should be here. There should be no sound here. Music here, music there. So I get pretty down in the trenches with the sound department.
これもさっきの空間と多分似た発想なんだろうと思うんですけど、やっぱりつい俳優の喋ってるセリフとか、あるいはすごく感情を表現する音楽とかを強調したくなるんですけども、それらも重要なんですが、スクリーンの向こうの世界ではそれだけじゃない、もっといろんな音が聞こえているはずだ。セリフだけ聞かせてるんで、他に流れてる音が聞こえなくなるのはもったいない。音楽が流れて、それは音楽流れるとこいいんですけど、音楽が聞こえてきて、他のいろんな細かい音が聞こえなくなってしまうのはすごくもったいないと思って、そのバランスは本当にいつも気にしながら作っています。
This might be similar to the answer to the empty space question, but of course, I want to make sure I'm getting the dialogue, the actors, but I end up being more involved with where the sound is emphasized. Because for me, I want to make sure I'm capturing the sounds of the world, and I don't want that world to just be covered up by music or only dialogue. I think it would be a shame to lose out on building the world of the film through sound. So it's always just striking a balance.
I'm going to open it up now because I'm already. Hold on. Let's start there. I'll get to all of you. Let's start there. Just speak loud. I can repeat it if they don't hear it.
Cool. Yeah, I loved it. Great. I've received a lot of exposure to Sal's work that's using genre elements like horror and thrillers to explore social alienation, economic alienation. I was fascinated about here with a focus on scalping and reselling, and I was curious what the introduction of that that world was, like why you became fascinated with it, why you chose to tell this story through that line.
Foremost, called scalping, let's call it reselling. Reselling, just straight up, I had a friend who was a reseller. So,
ここでちゃんと言っておきたいのは、彼は全然悪い人でもないし、犯罪者でもないんです。真面目な男です。
And I just want to make it clear, he's a very serious worker. He's not scalping, not doing anything on the illegal side of reselling. Just want to make that clear.
ただ彼はやっぱりそのカンパニーのような組織に働くことはやっぱり苦手で、普通、自分に何か特別な技術があるわけでもない、もちろん資産があるわけでもない、そういう人間がそれでも現代の日本でなんとか一人で生きていこうとすると、転売というのは一つの非常にリアリティのある仕事だなという気がしました。
So my friend, he's not the type of person who wants to go work at a big company, and especially for folks who might not have any specific skills or independently wealthy, I really felt that this reseller job was a really realistic way of making money in present day, especially present day Japan.
彼は本当に朝から夜までずっとコンピューターの画面を見ながら売れたら売れたでちゃんと荷物を梱包して、郵送したりして本当によく働いて、そんなにものすごくたくさん儲かることはなくてやっぱり少しずつ儲かっていくという本当に真面目に働いているなというのが僕の感想でしたね、彼の姿を見て。
And watching him work from morning to night, he would sell the product, pack it, send it. He works very hard. He doesn't make a lot of money off of it, but he's definitely making an honest living, and that was my observation.
しかし、ちょっと間違うと本当に犯罪とか非常に危ないところにスレスレのところにいるっていうのは彼もすごく気をつけていました。
And but he is very aware that you're skimming legality, that you can easily fall into scalping. So he's very, very conscious about that.
で、よく考えてみると、なるべく物を安く買って、それをなるべく高く売る。で、犯罪スレスレのところでそれをやってるって、多分ほとんどのカンパニーはそれをやっているわけです。その会社がやっている利益もリスクも全てを一人で引き受けている。そういう現代社会の非常にシンボリックな仕事だろうと思って主人公をこれにしました。
And so we live in a capitalistic world where even, he might also be buying items cheap and selling them at a higher price. So do companies. Except in the case of a company, they're taking on the risk. My friend takes on the risks by himself. So I also felt that the job of reselling was very symbolic of capitalism today as well.
We'll go with that. So say that again. Yeah. So the question is, Suda Masaki plays in a lot of manga adaptations and romance and whimsical roles in Japan. Is that factor played into the idea of casting him in such a role in Cloud?
はい、アメリカで菅田将暉のことがどれだけ知られているか僕は分からないんですけども、日本では彼はちょうど30歳になりますけども、年代では人気実力とも圧倒的なトップスターです。
Oops, sorry. So for Suda Masaki, I'm not sure about the awareness of him in the U.S., but he's actually 30 years old right now, and he's one of the best right now in Japan.
ですから最初からこの企画もう菅田将暉が出てくれたら最高なんだけどまず無理だよねっていうそのスケジュールもあるしギャランティーもあるし、こんなネガティブでダーティーそのダークな映画に出てくれないよねっていう最初は悲観的でした。
Yeah, so at the beginning, he was on my wish list. But considering the scheduling and his pay and the script is so dark, I really didn't think that it was possible.
ところが当たってみるもんですね。彼も結構かっこいい役をやることが多いんですけど、もうそれにそろそろもう嫌になってきた時期だったらしくて、ぜひやりたいと。こんな役をですよ、言ってくれて、本当に驚きました。ですから僕が彼を選んだのではなくて、菅田将暉がこの映画を選んでくれたんです。
So, however, I swear it's never discount just asking. But it turns out that Masaki Suda, just the timing was that he'd always been doing a lot of the cool leading roles, but he was actually at the point in his career where he didn't want to do that anymore. So he actually wanted and was interested in the story. So I would almost say he chose me. He chose Cloud.
ですから、皆さんご覧になってどういう感想を持たれたかわかんないですけど、本当に孤独な転売屋ですね、実際で、もちろん犯罪するそのようなことをやっているという、本当にぴったりはまっている、彼がかっこいいトップスターだとはまず見えないと思います。本当にそういうリアリティを彼はちゃんと演じてくれて、その彼が最終的にはああいう極限状態までになっていく、その変化も含めて、僕は見事に演じてくれたなっていう、彼がいたからこの映画が成立した、まさに彼の映画になったという気がしております。
And I'm not sure what all of you thought about Cloud after seeing the entire film, but him portraying a lonely reseller, maybe he's doing something illegal. What I love is that he doesn't look like your cool leading man at all. And he was so just plugged into the reality of the story. And I also appreciated his talent of how his character changed throughout the film. So I would almost say that the film would not have happened without him. It's almost his film.
Wow, okay. Let's go all the way over there on that block. Yeah.
I love the use of shapes in your composition, showing off and fill the frame, whether it's background or foreground. I'm curious if that's like a conscious part of your design process, or that just happens when you're shooting.
So the questions about the shapes in the composition of the film, whether they're a conscious choice or whether part of the design process or whether they just happen during the filming of the film.
This is a very interesting question.
どちらでも両方なんですよ。どういうことかというと、カメラのポジションと俳優のポジションですね。つまりカメラと俳優の関係、そういう動きも含めて、それは全て僕が決めます。
So first and foremost, I would say that the choice with the framing is a combination of myself and the DP. And first and foremost, I do direct the relationship, the positional relationship between the camera and the actor, and then if the actor has any blocking, I definitely direct all that.
しかし、それがどういう映像になるか僕よくわからないんです。どういう映像になるかは DP の人が全部決める。だから決めるんですね。
Yeah, so but I don't know how it'll turn out. So that unknown part then is where the DP steps in.
だから本当にDP と僕との共同作業と言っていいでしょう。一番特徴的なのは人とカメラの位置は分かるんですけども、僕はどこにフォーカスが合ってるかは分からないんですよ。でフォーカスは DP の人がここに合わせよう、あるいはここからここへフォーカスを移動させようとか、いろいろ工夫してフォーカスは彼の感覚で送られるんですね。僕はそれを見て、こういうふうにフォーカスを送られるんで、驚きながら見る、モニターを見てるということが多いですね。
So I would definitely say it's a joint process between the DP and I. And I think a probably unique aspect of when I'm shooting, as I mentioned, yes, I dictate where the actor and the camera relationship is, but I actually don't. I'm not able to imagine where the focus is, so that's where the DP comes in. So the DP will say, okay, let's set the focus here, or let's move the focus from here to here. And so I'll end up watching on the monitor, and I finally understand what the DP is getting at. And I'm learning a lot and also surprised at the same time.
多分僕がどうしてこんなやり方をしているかというと、非常に単純な理由があって、もともと僕はフィルムで撮っていたので、フィルムの時はそれ以上監督はやりようがないんです。自分で覗くわけにもいかないし、どんな映像が捉えているかはわからないんです、撮ってる時は。それこそ現像してみないとDP だって結果はわからなかったりする。だからそういうフィルムの習慣が残っているので、撮っている時はポジションだけは言うけど、どんな映像になるかはもう後のお楽しみ、自分ではコントロールできないんだっていうやり方でずっとやってきたので、こうなってるんだろうなと思います。
Now to answer the question of why do I do this way, I'm pretty sure it's because I come from the days of film. And back then you would shoot it, and neither the director nor the DP would know what it looks like until the film was developed. So I think it's just a habit. So as just coming from those days as a director, I dictate the position of the camera and the actor where the actor moves. But I come from the filmmaker philosophy of like, I can't control it. We'll just have to see what happens when we look at the footage.
We have time. Let's go all the way to the back. Yes.
Hi, beautiful film. How intentional, or was it your intention to reveal who was the real antagonist, which was the girlfriend? Was it your intention to trick the audience into revealing and learning who was that antagonist? Did you want to trick us into believing it was the former boss, or do you want to just play us around and reveal that it was the girlfriend towards the end? Thank you.
Right. ですね、彼女はうすうすそんなに純粋な恋人、純粋な愛だけで付き合っている人ではないというのはうすうす分かるのではないかと思いましたけど、あそこまで極端な悪者というのは多分あまり想像されなかったかもしれません。
Yeah, I think for me that she was giving off vibes, hints that she wasn't really in love with him. She wasn't in it for the relationship, and even for myself, yeah, I think it was even a surprise that she was that bad, that she was that much of an anti-hero.
僕も正直ちょっとやりすぎたかなと思ってるんですけど、
And honestly, I think maybe I overdid it.
ただ皆さん、ジャンル映画をたくさん見てらっしゃる方ならなんとなく分かるという、昔の映画で結構ああいう、いわゆるファム・ファタルというやつですね、 こんなに悪いのかっていうぐらい平気で最後主人公を殺そうとするぐらい悪い恋人とかいうのは、まあ、結構昔の映画で出てくるんです。そのジャンルかつてのジャンル映画に出てきたようなとんでもない悪い恋人みたいな設定で彼女に出てもらいました。
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone here has watched a lot of genre films, but she was a type of the femme fatale that you would see in the older films. So that was a bit of a tip of the hat to the older films that featured the femme fatale.
ただ僕がやりたかったというか一番ここを見てほしかったというのは、まあ、そんな彼女はとんでもない悪い人なんですけども、それに主人公もおよそ善人、分かりやすいいい人ではないんですけど、たくさん人を最終的に殺してしまった主人公がそんなに信じてはいなかった彼女が再び出てくることによってすっごく救われたような本当に無防備なよかったっていう笑顔、本当に安心したような表情を見せる、まあ、瞬間が僕は一番見せたかったし、菅田将暉のお芝居が一番好きで、彼は決していいやつではないけど何かやっぱり最後の希望を持ってたんでしょうね。その希望を信じてはいなかったけど、やっぱ彼女に全て託していた。それが瞬間初めて見えるのは僕は好きですよ。
So I think especially that last scene of Suda the actor mourning, our main character mourning over his girlfriend. What's specific about this is that the aim for that last scene was for her to draw out our main character's vulnerability. And there's a moment where he just drops everything, and although our main character is not our typical good person, but he sees his final hope in her. It's not a belief, but he has placed all his eggs of hope in her, and just his performance of realizing what he's lost and that vulnerability was really what I was trying to get at in that last scene.
最初に言ったティンバーをやっている僕の友人もああいういいやつなんです、本当は。
And my friend who's a reseller, he's actually a nice guy, kind of similar to that vulnerable Suda.
So that's all we have time for, but before we wrap up, can we ask Director Korsava to say a few words about Chime as by an introduction before we have a brief break?
はい、チャイムね、まず本当クラウド以上に気楽に見ていただきたいですね。
Alright, first and foremost, please watch Chime. Kind of more relaxed than Cloud. Just sit back and enjoy it.
相当変な映画、まあ、ジャンルで言えば大きく言えば、まあ、一種のホラー映画かもしれませんが、たかが45分しかありませんので、通常の映画とはだいぶ違った物語の構造になっていると思います。
So I guess in general you can label the Chime as in the horror genre, but it is 45 minutes, so it does have a different story structure.
これからご覧になるというのであまり内容については触れませんけども、僕もこの長さ45分という長さの物語。
And compared to other 45-minute films, I'm not sure if you can consider this good. And but just please, and yeah, with a very unusual, probably storytelling pace as well. So if you can enjoy it, that'd be great.
それと、途中で何のこれわけがわからないとかいろいろ思うことがあるかもしれませんが、45分ですからちょっと我慢すれば終わりますから、最後まで我慢してください。
And if you find yourself thinking, "What the heck am I watching?" It's only 45 minutes. So if you just wait till the end, that would be great.
Please keep that round of applause going for director Piotr Krasama.
Incredible camera, like hovering.
Okie dokie, time now is 12:11 after midnight. Yeah, I am tired. I'm a tired man. Just came home, as you can probably tell. Another long ass day. Yeah, I did sleep for like 7 hours though, which is actually not bad. Actually not too bad. Not gonna complain about that. But yeah, this morning I couldn't even finish Out of the Dark, and then I had to leave. So okay, so here's the funny thing, and it's I actually have a whole ass paper, actually 2 papers, the religion midterms and the spotlight paper to write, and I have nearly 0% progress on both of them. The religion midterms, I did 1 page, barely. Plus, I have a whole reading to do for my religion class. And then in the morning I watched Out of the Dark. I couldn't even fucking finish that film. And then I'm like, fuck, I'm late. Again. For my ALI meeting. So much shit is happening. Okay, it's overwhelming. So I have a meeting with the TA1 at EEB from 1 to 2 p.m. So I thought to myself, okay, from 1 to 2 p.m. is the meeting, 2 to 3:30 is the religion class, and then 3:30 I go buy boba, and then I go to Ralph's. How about this? In the morning, my breakfast is half a mooncake, which is not bad. And then, I don't know how half a mooncake is going to last me until 4 something p.m. How about I just drink the boba now? It's going to be a great source of calories. It's going to be a good, let's call it breakfast part 2 or lunch part 1. But I just want boba. So, yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my apartment early so that I could go to the boba shop near Gateway and buy it. And I thought that place is called It's Boba Time. Turns out it's called Pot of Cha. And then I was at around 12:25-ish, I left my apartment, and I realized that I already missed the 12:20 bus. If I walk all the way to Gateway, which is probably going to take me 30 minutes to buy boba, and then walk all the way diagonally across the campus to get to EEB, which is another 20 minutes, I'm definitely going to be late. But as it turns out, there is a boba place called It's Boba Time, literally right beside the USPS office on Vermont Avenue, which is on the way to EEB. Holy shit, thank God. So I walked away all over there, and I paid about $6 for a brown sugar boba. And wow, it's bad. I can taste the milk, but where's the tea? There's no tea inside. It's disappointing. So not the best boba, but now I know that. So next time I'll go to Pot of Cha. My rice is ready. Maybe I should eat rice first, because I haven't had dinner actually. Okay, I'm gonna stop it after maybe a couple minutes. Anyways, I had boba, I walked all the way to EEB, I went to the cafe outside of EEB, I sat down and I opened the laptop to do the religion class reading. It's too late. It's already 1 p.m. And also I don't want to be late for my TA for my ALI meeting because today I have to leave early. I can't end the meeting at 2 p.m. because I don't want to be late for a religion class. And walking all the way from EEB to DMC takes time as well. So, yeah. So, okay. ALI meeting with TA1. We watched Dead Poet Society. Really good. But like 35 minutes later, I bounced. We left. I'm still gonna log on the report that I met him for like an hour, but of course we didn't. Yeah, walked all the way to DMC. Again, at this point, it's like I don't even want to come to class anymore because religion class is like a non-class. So I walked to DMC and I went to my religion class, and thank God I'm on time. But yeah, it's another 90 minutes of yapping as expected, or 80 minutes of yapping. The thing is, this time around, I didn't do the reading at all. Like, I read the intro, and I hate to admit this, but I used AI to summarize the chapter. Did not help at all. Did not help at all. So yeah, I ended up just raw dogging it, and I did speak up a couple times, but both times I spoke up, it's not even about the reading. One time Taoism is mentioned by Eli, and I'm like, ooh, Taoism, my thing. So I did talk about like the breaking out of hell ritual in Taoism, but of course the professor's like, okay, but let's talk back about soap, because a chapter of the book is about soap, Christianity, and soap manufacturing and cleanliness, which is like, what? Am I paying a lot of tuition just to talk about soap? So yeah, but at some point the professor talked about how there's going to be a guest speaker, and the guest speaker will talk about Buddhism and film, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's exactly what I'm doing for my research project. Like, come on. And I even already picked out like 6 films. So yeah, during religion class today, I was actually just figuring out what to write for my spotlight paper, and I think I've already made the decision. I really want to write about Buddhist films, but the thing is, I'm not well equipped to do that. I'm gonna just go with anime. I'm just gonna write about anime. I'm just gonna write about Evangelion and so on and so forth. But yeah, okay, I'm hungry actually. Ooh, my belly. Religion class is over. I left, and I talked to the professor about the fact that my project is about Buddhism and film, and he's like, "Oh, it's fine, just keep going." And then as I was leaving DMC, I actually spoke to Aliyah, the Jewish girl. I was like, hey, how's the essay going? And she's like, I haven't even started. And I was like, oh, wow. I started 1 page and I have no idea what to do. And she's like, oh, I'm going to work over it. I'm going to work on it over the weekend. And then she said, did you really like this class? Like, do you really enjoy this class? Because I'm not really enjoying this class. This is like just reading books. And I'm like, yeah. And we both had the same thing. It's so interesting because 99% of the times I take a class, especially in college, it's like, oh my god, it's so complicated, it's so difficult. I wish the professor would just cancel this lecture and cancel this assignment. I wish the stuff is easier. But I think in this case, everyone probably wants the class to be tougher. It's so interesting. So Aliyah was like, oh yeah, this is like, what are we even doing? Like, I feel like we're learning nothing. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's just like a book analysis class. It's like she doesn't even want to teach. And then she's like, yeah, you know, when I went to this class, I was hoping that I would learn about like case studies and different kinds of religions and the difference between Catholicism and Christianity, which I still don't know. Like, how are we supposed to read the book that we're assigned to, which mentions everything from fundamentalism to Calvinism and modern America's perception of Christianity, when we are not taught even the basics, even though this is the intro class? It's kind of ridiculous, ain't it? So I'm glad someone's really honest with me. I'm sure everyone thinks that way. But yeah. And then I walked to Ralph's. What a sweaty fucking walk. What a hot day. So tiring. And I'm carrying a huge laptop on my backpack. So it was extra tough. Bought a bunch of shit. And they're so heavy. And I'm like, I can't. There's no fucking way I can spend the next 15 minutes walking from Ralph's to my home under the blistering sun with a laptop on my back, running late because I have a film screening to catch tonight. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm calling a lift home. Even though, you know, to call a share lift, I have to wait like 16 minutes, 17 minutes for the lift, but it was worth it. $7, but it was fucking worth it. So yeah, I'm back at home, chilling. I'm gonna go down and eat dinner. Okay, it's 1:25. I'm feeling a bit of a stomachache right now. Also, I need to sleep early, so I'm just gonna finish this, and then I'm taking a shower and going to bed, man. No questions asked. Where was I? I went back home. I had quote-unquote lunch at 5 freaking p.m., which was a sandwich I got in Ralph's. Tastes like shit, but who cares? And then I left. So here's the thing. Matt, earlier today, while I was walking to, it's boba time, Matt suddenly DM'd me, hey, are you going to see Cloud later? And I'm like, yeah, Cloud and Chime. And he's like, cool. Can I join? Do you want to take a lift together? He's a very blunt guy. You know, he doesn't dress. He doesn't do a lot of dancing around, you know. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I originally planned to take the metro there because it saves money. But I guess, yeah, we could just lift and split the Uber fee. And he's like, cool. So okay, that's weird. I thought he didn't get the tickets. So, yeah, so we later discuss. He's like, oh, can I come to your place at 6:10? And I'm like, okay, but the screening starts at 7 p.m. and I don't want to go at 6:10 because all the good seats will be taken. I want to arrive at least an hour early for this screening. And this is a popular screening, by the way. So I wanted to arrive an hour early. And he's like, okay. And then a little bit later, he's like, oh, actually, can I come after 6? Or he didn't say, can I come? He didn't ask for my permission. He doesn't need my permission. He's too cool. He's just like, I'll come after 6. So that I can do the free lift thing. And I'm like, sure. So he didn't show up at my place until 6:30 something. So 6:35, 6:40 p.m., which is absolutely insane. Like, he waited for the free lift for so long. And then I waited for him for so long. Now I know how it felt, how Justin T felt when he waited for me at Target for the Magdalena Bay concert. And then I waited for the Uber to come, and that took forever. And then the Uber finally came, and it drove us to the Aero Theater, but there's a little traffic. Thank God it's only a little traffic. But yeah, we arrived at the Aero Theater, and it was already like 7:17 p.m. Apparently one of one of Matt's friend is also there, and he's texting Matt, so that means the screening probably hadn't started. But holy shit, had I gone into the theater 1 minute later, it would have been the end, because we were right on time, but we missed the whole intro thing. And also, apparently, the intro was kind of fun. Like, Kurosawa Kiyoshi was given a cannon where he was able to shoot, like, a shirt out of a cannon or something. Like a t-shirt cannon. It's pretty crazy. And they were, like, bouncy balls or something. So it sucks that I missed that shit. Yeah, well, next year, hopefully. But yeah, I had some okay conversation with Matt. Again, with Matt. Matt is a strange fellow. Like, I don't really know, because he's such a blunt and straightforward guy, and yet he's like such a cool, like such a cold guy. Like, I sit with him and at first we just have nothing to say to each other. And then I started talking, oh, so, I saw Pulse. And he's like, yeah, that's a great film. And then, yeah, I just talked about how I'm going to set tomorrow, and he's like, oh, for what? And then I explained, and then we had something to talk about. But yeah. And anyways, we watched the film, and, he went to the bathroom. So I was about to go in, and then one of the staff of the theater was like, wait a second, let me bring you to a seat. Sarah's seat. I don't know who's Sarah. So apparently there are some reserved seats, but the people who the seats are reserved to did not show up. So I got a pretty good seat. It's not at the very front. I low-key wish that I would sit more front, but I got a pretty good seat, right at the dead center, at the screen. I got a real good seat. And yeah, the seats to my left and right were completely empty. So I was waiting for Matt to come in, but Matt just found a seat at the side, and he watched it there. And I found him. I knew where he is sitting because I could see most of the theater from my POV. But anyways, we saw Cloud, and then we have the Kurosawa Kiyoshi Q&A. I wanted to ask a question, but I did not because I don't feel brave enough to ask a question in front of so many people. But yeah, it's definitely, some of the questions were pretty not great. And then we watched Chime, which is even better. And then yeah, after both screenings, I and Matt would meet up and we would talk a little bit about it. It was a really good experience. It was a couple of good films. They weren't great. They weren't mind-blowingly great, but they were good. I don't know. Afterwards, apparently Matt's friend and another person came, and apparently John L is here. So here's the mystery. Here's the solution to the mystery. Matt was able to show up today because John L sold his tickets to Matt, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. John L also got tickets to Cloud and Chime, but gave them to Matt, and maybe he's out of town right now. And then Matt later told me, no, John L is here. And I'm like, what? So how did he get the tickets? And apparently Matt's other friend sold them to John L. So anyways, John L briefly showed up. We didn't talk to each other because it's weird if John L speaks to Matt in English and then speaks to me in English, or speaks to me in Cantonese. So it was kind of like, the whole situation's like a little awkward. But also in a reasonable way. And then, yeah, and then Matt called a Lyft. And, I don't know, how did Matt find my phone number? That's pretty weird. I have no idea how he did that. But yeah, Matt called a shared Lyft ride because it's cheaper, and it's like $20 cheaper than the $40 Lyft ride I got. Also, no, I called an Uber when Matt came to my place, or like downstairs to my place, and Lyft, like a Lyft ride from my place to Aero Theater was like $130 something. It's fucking stupid. Like, but Uber was 40 something. It was so weird. Anyways, we called a share lift, and then suddenly there's this random dude who's sitting at the back seat. So I and Matt have to split up again. I'm in the shotgun, and Matt sat beside this random dude. And this random dude was like, "Did you enjoy Cloud?" And Matt was like, "Oh, you were in there too?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then they talked about Beyond Fest and this director, and they really got it going, talked about the films. And then Matt was like, "Where are you headed?" And this guy was like, "USC. I study there." And I turned my back and I'm like, "Oh, shit." And Matt was like, "What major?" "Cams." And turns out he's also Cams. And then turns out we're all juniors. Like, what the fuck? What are the odds? And then they exchanged Instagram. And of course I didn't get to because I'm sitting in the front. And also I'm just like so not social. It's always weird being kind of friends with someone and then seeing that someone hit it off even better with a total stranger. But yeah, we arrived at Matt's place and we talked a little bit more. Matt just lives with his other friends in this random house, and then I called a free lift and a return home. And it's already super late. I ate dinner, curry, rice, cucumber. Kind of gross, actually. The cucumber's rotten, I believe. I don't know. Yeah, and I'm tired. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Apparently Matt is helping out on a 310, which is crazy. Like, I want to work on a 310. Yeah, I want to work on a 310, and I want to work on a 480, and, he got to work on one before I do, even though I'm more of a production-oriented guy. But yeah, also, I might hang out with John L. on the 18th. Yeah, and also, I told Jing Chen that I'm not going to set on Friday. So tomorrow is going to be day 1 of the shoot. I'm going. Day 2, I'm not going. I have to do my social security number shit. Maisie, the art directing class TA, emailed me telling me to pick up the physical part of the midterms. And I'm like, the only day I can do that is Friday. And then I'm like, well, might as well watch Megalopolis that day. So I DM'd Justin T and I'm like, I'm going to see Megalopolis on Friday. And Justin T's like, I think I'm free on that day. So fuck yeah, let's go see Megalopolis that day. And then, have Anora been released? No, not yet. It's fine. So Megalopolis is that day. And then I believe there's one more thing on Friday I need to do. I forgot, but there's one more thing. And then Saturday, Sunday, I'll be on set. Ariel also texted me randomly today, asking me if I'm interested in helping out with a film set as an art PA on the 14th, 15th, 16th. But the thing is, that's Monday to Wednesday. Have you forgotten that I'm still a student? I know you all are not students anymore. Like Cliff, Ariel, they've got successful careers already, but I'm not. I'm still a student, so yes. But yeah, aside from that, not much else, I think. So thankfully, I received a call sheet this morning and it says the call time is 6:30 a.m., which is insane. Turns out the plan is a little different now. This time, Jingchen will pick me up at 8 a.m. at the village, which is great freaking news because I cannot wake up at 5. I will die. So, yeah, that's great news. I'll wake up at 7 instead. I'll probably walk to the village, honestly. Yeah, I'll wake up at 7-ish. Give myself a little time for a breakfast. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Also, the Arrow October Blu-ray Fest is happening. October Blu-ray sale is happening. So I think I'm just gonna buy the Ring in 4K Blu-ray real quick. One sec. Lots of money spent on the Uber rides. But yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all I have to say. Accidentally cut my lip when I shaved, and not much else after that. Not much else. Time now is 7:18 a.m. in the morning on October 11th. Is it? October 10th. I slept from 3:15 to 7:15. That's 4 hours. Yeah, I could have slept a little earlier than that. But yeah, fuck me. I want to just sleep tomorrow. Please let me just sleep tomorrow, please. I really need to sleep early tonight. Like, holy fuck. Holy fuck, I'm dying. But yeah, today I'm going to a film set. That's all that's happening today. Whole day film. I'm gonna walk to the village. Either that, or if I can take a bus, that would be even greater. But yeah. Oh my god. It doesn't really make sense though. The call time is 6:30 a.m. at a certain location, which is near Culver City, like a little park. But I'm going to the village and I'm going to Hawthorne first. So we'll see. Also, the art team is really small today. It's like 6 people or something. Quote unquote small, but it's actually a lot already. Yeah. It's 7 fucking a.m. The one day.
This early every day? And I was like, yes.
Welcome to the film life.
Yeah. Man, what am I doing here?
Oof.
I just don't know how to do things well. Because
On this first, because I saw you want to screw that first. 哦，你这个怎么样？你要哇操！
家里那个字差不多
That's crazy! I'm gonna shoot a video. Did you do that? Did you do that?
Yeah.
You shoot a technique.
Got it?
Alright. Can someone come in here and help you?
Alright, what do we got?
Yeah, key grip 的 key grip。
你什么时候来帮我 key grip？
随时啊，赶快 book 我时间，我10月已经满了。
Keep going. Yep, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. One more. All right. There you go.
Oh, okay. Now ratchet.
Now put. Can you put?
No, I've done that in Hong Kong, but many years ago. Years and years ago. Okay, time now is 11:48 p.m. I'm tired as fuck. I'm gonna fall asleep. I almost fell asleep just now, just looking at Twitter. So yeah, another extremely tiresome day. I woke up and I actually tried to like launch my Indiegogo in the morning, but I didn't. I took a bus, went to USC Village. Jingchen told me he's lining up at Dulce to grab coffee, and I'm like, sure. So I went to Dulce, and there's like a long ass line already at 7 fucking a.m. or like nearly 8 a.m. And it's my first time trying Dulce actually. And Jing ordered his coffee and 4 matchas, and throughout the day the matchas are just like there on the set. So here's the thing with today. Today is the first day of the shoot of the short film, and it's also probably the most interesting day because they're doing a Bollywood dance or whatever. Unfortunately I'm not going to be there. I wasn't there because apparently the director and the producer wanted all of us, all of the art department, to continue working on whatever we're still working on at the house at Hawthorne. So plans have changed. Jing Chen picked me up at the USC Village, and then another guy came in. He's a black guy by the name of David, and he joined this shoot. Apparently he is from School of Dramatic Arts, and he's a freshman, brand new. And this is his first film set ever in life. He's a complete newbie. You know, I was like that 2 years ago. So yeah, so we went into a car, and I had the 4 cups of matcha on my lap, and I had to make sure they don't spill, and then we made our way to Hawthorne. We arrived, and then more people subsequently showed up, including Ray, which is nice. He's actually a really nice guy. He's very jumpy, and he's very ADHD. I don't know if he's ever questioned whether he has ADHD or not, but he is so all over the place. He's just, he talks really fast, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 and then he would go on to the next topic, and then he would go on to the next topic. Like, he's a very active speaker. But it's nice talking to him because it's entertaining. And then Mulun, the girl from Beijing, was there too. And so we're there, and we're just going to continue doing this. And I thought that we were going to maybe halfway through the day, we're just going to head over to the actual set, to the shoot, but we never did. We stayed at the house all day. So this is day 4 of me at this short film. And it's day 4, and we're still in this fucking house. And I believe today will be my last time being in this silly ass house, because it's the same freaking house, it's claustrophobic, and I'm surprised I'm able to survive this long in this silly house. But anyways, yeah, we did more painting. What the hell did we do today? Honestly, it's a fucking blur. I think we did nothing but painting today. Like, we aged a ticket booth, so that we're still fucking doing the ticket booth. We've been doing it since like day 1, even though I wasn't there on day 1. but the ticket booth, right? We had to age it with different paint, scratch it with sandpaper, etc. It's interesting that I'm working with a newbie, because then I'm like coaching him, like, okay, so welcome to the art department, welcome to the film life. But at the end of the day, I'm not that much of an expert in aging, and then like Mulun later came to help out, and she's much more experienced because she went to NYU for film production, I assume, which is like so fucking good. Like, what the fuck? Also, David also got accepted as a freshman to USC film production. Like, what the fuck? But anyways, who cares? So she's much more adept at aging things. And then we spent some time working with the removable flat inside the bedroom, which is a place where we've been building for days now, and that was a real dookie, because that was so annoying. It's so fucking stupid that okay, patching up a wall is fine. Like, it's a lot of work, but it's fine. You know, you just put up a couple wooden panels, flats, patch it up with joint compound, put a layer of paint over it, put a second layer of paint over it, age it, whatever. But to have the wall be removable, to set the wall in, trim it perfectly so that it's completely set in, tape it up, paint it, put props over it, and then the day of the shoot we take everything out, remove the wall again, just so that the camera people can go in, and then lock them all up again, and then put paint over it, tape over it, paint over it. It's so stupid. It's just a lot of work. And I know they have to use this space, but then why are we putting up the wall now? Apparently the director wants the wall to be put up now for visualization purposes, like to make it feel good. So we did that, and then we painted more flat, this giant door flat, painted it more with blue, just more of the same. So that was it. And yeah, it's a shame because I wanted to see Elin. It's been a while. Last time I saw her was, I believe, Takumi's birthday. But Elin is on this set as well, and I kind of want to see her. So I saw that she's on the call sheet for tomorrow, so hopefully she'll be on the call sheet for like day 3 and 4 so that I can run into her. It would be really silly if I don't. Also, apparently yesterday another Taiwanese girl PD came. Her name is Ariel, funny enough. And I don't know, I want to meet her. I want to meet more PD people, especially non-Chinese but still East Asian PD people, which as of now is just Jing and Mo. So yeah, you know, hopefully I'll get to know her in the future. But yeah, we just did a lot of painting, and it's the matcha's pretty good. It was nice. Even though I slept for 4 hours only, I was like wide awake. I'm like used to this at this point. But of course right now, when I'm at home, I'm crashing down. Yeah, it's fun talking about my past short film experiences and SCA, etc., etc. So Mulun, she seems like a very, like, straight up, like, straight-edged, stuck-up kind of girl. Like, she takes the situation a little too seriously sometimes, and she's a little standoffish. So Ray is a little ADHD. He's a little, like, rambly and a little jumpy, a little silly sometimes. So their personalities really clashed. Like, they weren't arguing, but there were so many moments where they almost did. There was a moment where Mulun basically complained, like, the director wanted the ceiling to have the same color as the walls, but nobody in the art department listened, and now we have to paint it and repaint it, and it's all messed up. And then, first of all, Ray wasn't responsible for the walls. B, Ray was like, oh, but... So, Ray wasn't even trying to argue with her. It was just, Ray was just confused. But it sounds like he's arguing with her, and then she was being standoffish, and then they went into the room, and they started going at it in Mandarin. And of course, David completely did not understand. I do understand, but I just find that really funny. For a long while, for like 3 or 4 hours, Jing Chen just disappears, and Mulun basically runs the set. And she helped me and David age the ticket booth, and we actually had a pretty good conversation, even though she's like standoffish and I don't know, maybe she's like pro CCP, which would be gross, by the way. But at some point, me and David were jokingly saying, oh man, we're not getting paid. And then she's like, well, then why are you here? And first of all, it's a joke. Second of all, I'm here for the people and the experience, duh. But we actually had to end up having a pretty nice, like, low-key conversation about Wong Kar-wai. Mulun asked me, why do I like Wong Kar-wai's films? And at first, it sounds like I'm giving a bullshit answer, like, oh, he's so experimental, avant-garde, he's so unique. But, like, I actually ended up saying something really good. I talked about how he's not just a filmmaker, but he's a world maker, because the characters and the set pieces exist in his mind, and it's actually a really badass way to sell Wong Kar-wai's films. And I'm like, yep, that's why I'm in film studies, you know. And Mulun was actually impressed, like, oh, okay, good answer, you know. So lunchtime came at around 4 something p.m. and we were all dying of starvation. We had Subway sandwiches. Ray went and buy those sandwiches, and again, when we had the sandwiches, Ray started like ranting about the set. So apparently he used his own money to buy Subway, or his own coupon, and he wants the money back. But the thing is, chances are he's not getting the money back. And then Mulun actually defended the producers, saying, oh, but like, we had to work on this build for 5 days, and now we're going over time. So we are responsible to buy our own lunches. But that literally doesn't make sense, because we are hired not to build in 5 days. We're hired to build certain things. As long as those things are not complete, the build isn't over, and we should be compensated for the food and the transportation and everything else, because the build is not complete, period. We're not paid daily. We're paid for the end result. Another thing is, there is no contract. So Ray was just ranting about how poorly run the set is, like there's no communication, or that's not even the problem. The problem is, art department had no budget. We had like $3,000. We had not enough people. Yet they got this famous DP, and this famous DP is probably working with experienced people, and they're getting a lot of money, and they're on the actual shoot now. And then Mulun was just like, well, you know, Mulan's like, why are you even talking to me? Like, why? Like, bring it up to the producer. And the conversation became so roundabout that I started like laughing, and David started laughing. It's so goofy. And yeah, so Jingchen, Mo, Yun eventually arrived, and Jingchen returned, and apparently this whole morning Mo and Yun have been doing like runs, like supply runs, going to Home Depot, props, etc. They need this prop, they need that prop. And Jingchen is really not having it. Jingchen's really having a terrible time. Like, he showed me text messages between him and the director sending this long voice message and complaining about this prop shouldn't be there, that prop shouldn't be there. But like, you can fix the props the day of the shoot. the director just likes to micromanage everything. So yeah, it was really tiring. But yeah, I almost got a splinter when I helped out Ray install a window right here, but it's not bleeding, it just hurts a bit. There's the moving. At some point at the very late at night at 8 p.m. ish, a giant grip truck came, but of course the grip truck also has a little space for us to put the props in, so we had the door flat and the ticket booth that we miraculously mounted on a trolley and then moved it into the truck. Fits just right. But the producer, she's like this middle-aged woman, and she's like, her husband was like, oh, you know, let's give them more space in the truck, let's remove this trolley. And she's like, no, I don't want to, it's too heavy, let them figure it out, they'll figure it out. And it's like, no, like, I'm not saying you're overestimating us because we suck at our jobs, is that you're asking too much of us and you look down on us, kind of. The director came and like Jinshin really hated it. I don't know what's going on with the director and the art, but Jinshin really hated it, that's all I know. But yeah, the day just flew by like that. Full day, I think 13 hours at the fucking house. Really tired. And then we went to a gas station and I went in and Jinshin was like, hey, do you want me to buy you something? And I'm like, sure. I got a little drink. So yeah, that's it today. I came home and I don't know what to eat for dinner. But I ended up having chicken thigh, mashed potatoes from Ralph's, and garlic broccoli. Really solid dinner, actually. And I'm amazed that I still have the energy to cook. But yeah, that's it. Very plain day, nothing else. Now, a couple other things happened. First of all, right after I woke up, I found out that AMC is still doing Sean Baker Q&A Honora, which is fucking insane. Sean Baker already did like 3 Q&As or 4 Q&As. He's gonna do 3 more. So Sean Baker at the Honora premiere in the US, in LA, at the, I believe, Aero Theater or Egyptian Theater, part of Beyond Fest, he was there. And then he did Honora Q&A at AMC on October 5th and 6th. 2 days in a row. One at the Grove, one at Century City. And I thought that's it, that's over, because Honora is having a wide release. But apparently not, it's still not over. So on the AMC website, it says that there's going to be another Honora Q&A on October 24th, but it doesn't say buy tickets here or something. It just says remind me. So I tapped on remind me and it reminds me. So it's going to send me an email whenever there's an update, which is ridiculous because like the Q&A is already over. This is probably bullshit. I probably have to watch Honora without the Q&A. Anyways, who cares? But no, apparently it's not bullshit because this morning I got an email from AMC saying, hey, Honora Q&A is happening. Which I'm like, what? Is this real? And it's funny because it's not even the 24th. It's happening on the 25th at night at the Grove, which is great location, great timing. And then on the 27th, Century City at 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. 2 screenings. Which is... Okay, so October 25th, nighttime. The thing is, the red shoes, 35mm at the Academy Museum. Fuck. I genuinely thought about just skipping Academy Museum. I'm just losing $5. I'll go to Honora instead. Even though the red shoes probably a better film. So I was kind of conflicted. Thank God I found out about the October 27th screening. But the issue is, I also have somewhere to be on October 27th. At night, I'm going to downtown LA to see Omnipotent Youth Society. But honestly, you know what? Fuck it. Honora Q&A? Hell yeah. So I DM'd, and the funny thing is when I checked this morning, there were like no seats. There were a lot of seats. Like there were no, it wasn't sold out. So it was probably like a newly announced showing. And also it's like before 3 p.m., so you get a 20% off discount. So I immediately DM'd Justin T. I was like, hey, check this out. And after a long while, I guess Justin T, you know, because it's fall break, so he took a while to wake up. At around 1 p.m., he's like, oh, I don't know, I think I'll pass on that. But he's down for Megalopolis tomorrow. So yeah, I immediately DM'd Michelle, and Michelle immediately said, yes, exclamation mark. So I immediately got 2 tickets to Anora with Sean Baker Q&A. Hell fucking yes, I did it. It's happening. It's crazy they're still doing Q&A, but it's great they are still doing Q&As. Fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic. Palme d'Or winner right in front of my face. So yeah, I'm honestly really satisfied. I just spent like $70 or like $80 buying Anora and Megalopolis. Of course, Justin T is gonna pay me back and Michelle's gonna pay me back, but still. But yeah, I'm really satisfied. I feel secured because I want to see Megalopolis and Anora. So I'm seeing Megalopolis tomorrow. So that's one thing. The another thing is at around 12, I received a text plus an email warning me, not really warning me, it's friendly, but urging me to submit the BRFs, which I forgot what it stands for, but it's like a bi-weekly report for, yeah, BR probably stands for bi-weekly report. BRF for my ALI meetings. And I was gonna do it last night, but I was too tired and I forgot about it. So I'm like, fuck. And the text essentially tells me, please submit by 2 p.m. That's your deadline. I'm on a fucking set. So I just did it on my phone. I like downloaded it off of Brightspace. I edited it in PDF form. I saved as on my phone. And then I submitted them on Brightspace on the fucking app. Hell yeah. So I did that. I haven't worked on the spotlight paper at all so far today. I'm gonna work on it a little bit later, but I have so much shit to do, honestly. It's insane how much shit I have to do. But yeah, that's it. So tomorrow I'm not going. It's confirmed. So tomorrow I will, like, there are 4 things to do. Tomorrow's the deadline for the Spotlight Journal. I have to do the social security number thing. I have to pick up the physical portion of the art directing exam from Maisie, and I'm going to see Megalopolis at 7:30 p.m. I'm gonna try to arrive earlier so that I and Justin T can like look at Criterions at Barnes & Noble. But yeah, it should be enough time. It's a little, you know, I have it all planned out in my head, so I'm gonna have I'm going to pick up I'm gonna do the social security number thing at 2 p.m. And then I'm gonna pick up the exam at around 2:30, 2:40. I'll return home around 3:30. I'm gonna have a quick lunch here, which is the macaroni box from Ralph's, maybe an omelet. And then I'll go. So I want to arrive at the Grove at around 6-ish. Or actually no. If I arrive at around 7, it's good enough. So 45 minutes of bus. I leave at 6:15. And then I'll probably just Uber home, because after Megalopolis is like 3 hours, like including ads and stuff. So by the time it ends, it's probably like 10:30-ish, and then I'll go home and it's gonna be like 11. Like, fuck me. But it's gonna be good. And yeah. And I'm gonna be able to sleep a bit tonight, just a bit more. Yeah, that's it for today. Not much else. Yeah, this film apparently, according to Jing Chen, is the worst set he's been to. Like, he's really, really frustrated. And I started joking around, almost like this ends and means. Even though ends and means is still, like, leagues worse than this. Like, I told David about ends and means, and he's like, wow, that's insane. This is nowhere near. I mean, I haven't even been to the actual shoot. But, yeah. Apparently Jingshan is really having a terrible time. Also, Mulan, apparently, she's half Mongolian, and Mulan is a Mongolian name. And I said, wooden wheel? And she's like, yeah, that's a good interpretation. And I'm like, really? Second of all, apparently her uncle is this Moor Shan, who is a pretty famous and successful director, and that's how she got onto this set, which explains why she's defending the director and the producers, or the producer. Yeah. Tired indeed. 3 a.m. sleep. No hesitation. To 3 a.m. I can't wait for the next weekend where I don't need to go to a set and I can just sleep. Can't fucking wait. Can't wait.